Hello, everyone. Here we are. Here we are. It's time for another Saturday art night. Making sure everything is up and running. Give you all a moment to get here. I know people are joining from all over. So many different platforms, so many different places to be. Let's just see. It does look like my closed captions are working, so if you need closed captions, there are closed captions available. Let's just jump around here. This is a good time. Welcome to your Saturday art night. I am your Saturday night. Here we are. It's going to be a really good time. It usually is a really good time when we get together for art. Now, a quick visual descriptor for those of you joining us. I have long brown hair, glasses, I'm wearing chainmail, a canvas tunic, I have a drinking horn in hand. Right behind me is the canvas that we are going to paint on, and I'm here in my study area, so there's the bookshelf behind me and a bunch of other fun things. Oof, and I got a hair in my mouth. I already have a hair in my mouth. What are you going to do about it? What we're going to do is we're going to just carry on with the fun. Welcome, welcome, welcome. For those of you who aren't aware, I will be putting up a link later to my digital gallery, but I do have a digital gallery where you can check out all of my art as well as find a link where you can go and sign up for one of my art workshops. We had our first art workshop not long ago. It was amazing. There was a lot of fun. Everybody got a chance to paint. We had wonderful conversation. There was a wonderful lesson. It was just a really good time. If you didn't get a chance to catch that art workshop, you can sign up to any of the art workshops that are going to be going on for the rest of the year. They're going to be a whole lot of fun. Now, as usually occurs on an art night, I'm going to be going ahead, I'm going to finish up this drinking horn, and then we are going to get to work on this canvas. Now, should you wish to suggest any sort of colors or tones or something you would like to see on the painting, on the canvas itself, feel free to shoot it out. I always appreciate when you get involved, and I really like to make this a total experience. This is a communal activity. We're going to be creating abstract art today. Usually that is what I create on an art night. But if this is your first time joining, or this is your first time catching one of these wonderful streams, or wherever you might be catching it right now, just understand, we're going to follow our feelings. We're going to follow what the canvas tells us, what the canvas provides for us, and just really get into it. Already, not much left of the drinking horn, but the faster that we get to the art, the better it all is. Alright, that's drinking horn empty. Oh, I'm already excited. But I get so excited to paint. I get so excited to create. I just truly enjoy diving right into the creative process. Let's just go ahead. I don't need both palettes, just And if you're new here, the first thing that I usually do is I'm going to put an undercoat, a base coat as it were, on the canvas. This canvas is already primed, but despite that fact, we want paint to work on top of that we're going to get into here. Now, today I'm really feeling this Yellow Flame. Yellow Flame, it's a 21474E Yellow Flame from Apple Barrel. And this is what we're going to use for our base layer, our base coat, our underlayer. It's going to be wonderful. I just want to get something started on this canvas before we really dive into it. And I've been using a lot of this Yellow Flame lately, but I really enjoy the way it looks, the way it feels. I just like this paint. So using a 1.5 inch straight brush that's actually intended for painting of walls, I'm just going to start to get some Yellow Flame on the canvas. Get this base coat, this underlayer on. If you haven't been to one of these before, I'm not going to entirely coat the base of the painting. I'm just going to get enough on here so that we have something to work with. So you may notice areas where you can still see canvas. That's fine. We're just creating a little bit of a backdrop. And I'm using these nice side-to-side strokes, just creating our initial tonality. If you're joining for the first time, or if you're joining again, you've been here before, feel free to just say hi. Let everyone know you're here. Go ahead, unlock the top, because I want to be able to get paint right up all the way to the top of the canvas. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Just unlocking the top so that I can get a little paint up there. I'm already having a good time, and I hope you are too. And I'm just going to use what's left of this flame yellow. This Yellow Flame. I called it the wrong thing for a second there. That happens. It's okay. But I am sticking primarily to back and forth strokes. I have done a couple which are not back and forth strokes. That's okay. It's alright. You know, now that I actually have that all down, before we move on in the painting, I actually want to go ahead and just add a little something extra on top of here. So what I'm going to do really quick, before we go any further, is I'm going to get a whole bunch of titanium white. Oof, making funny sounds with the bottle there. So I'm going to get this white. It's a 20503E. I actually just want to get some of that. I'm going to use the exact same brush I was using before. I'm just going to mix it in with the with the Yellow Flame. And I'm going to work a little bit of that on here because I want to see where we're going to go. And I just want to have some fun. This is going to give us even more paint on our base layer. And it's going to potentially give us something really interesting. And I'm just going ahead and crossing the brush back and forth over the canvas. Just creating this wonderful underlayer. Try to get it all the way down to the bottom too. Alright. Now, because I've added this bit of white and just blended it through and mixed it in with the yellow, what we're actually going to end up doing is slightly desaturating the yellow. But I'm also spreading it out further. You know, just give us something really interesting to start with. I like to have fun, and I like things that create a bit of visual interest. Alright, we have that all set. Let's see who we have. Do we have anyone in the chat? Doesn't seem like anyone is in the chat right now. That's fine. We're going to keep on going. Now, because I already have all of this wonderful, wet, living paint here, I'd really like to add something more right now while the paint is still in this state. I will give it just a minute or two. If you want to put a color out there to suggest, go ahead. But if no one suggests a color, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab the next thing, and we're just going to keep feeling our way through this painting. Hope you're doing wonderful today, by the way. Absolutely wonderful. And of course, just a reminder, I appreciate all of you so very much. Alright, now since we don't have any suggestions, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to choose another paint. I'm going to feel it out, and then we're going to keep going. Sometimes I'm really specific with these. Sometimes I just let the paint guide me. And we can get a lot of really interesting results when we let the paint guide us. So in this instance, I'm actually going to end up going... let's see. I'm just trying to follow what feels right. But, you know, there's so much going on right now. So I'm feeling green. So we're going to be using this green here. It's actually, if I can see where the thing is on it. It's just a standard Crafter's Closet green from Art Skills. No real specifications on this one. But we're going to have fun with it. Or at least try to. Ooh. Well, I guess this paint doesn't want to come out. And if this paint doesn't want to come out, we'll get another one. I might just have to dispose of this one. And it looks like that's the case. We're going to give it one more shot. If it doesn't come out... Oh! And there we go. There's a little bit. That's all that was in there. And I guess that's the way it's intended to be. If that's all the paint that was in there, that's all the paint we're going to use for this. So I'm actually going to go to this number 12 straight brush. It's a larger brush. This one is actually from Royal and Langnickel. So this number 12 straight brush, we're going to go to this. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab some of our green here. And let's see, where should we add this green? Let's follow what feels right. I'm going to actually use kind of soft, angular strokes on the lower third of the painting, allowing the green to just spread and kind of degrade a little bit with each passing stroke. And I'm just adding some angular areas of green. Just some fun angular areas. And then I'm going to go in the opposite direction for these next angles. Now that I have that on there, I actually would like to come through and get some quick little feathers with this. So that's actually what I'm going to do with the brush, is I'm just going to feather across all this green and kind of mix it through a little. Oh, I like that actually. And then I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to work my way from the bottom up, using the edge of the brush and just kind of spreading and streaking out this green in all sorts of directions. Now let me go ahead and go the other direction with the brush, and then I'm going to go from my top and I'm going to work my way back down with lots of these little streaks, lots of these fun little streaks. I like that. Hey, thank you for being here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know, we've got something started here. We're not very far along yet, but thank you so much for being here. So far we have a yellow flame, we have a little bit of titanium white, and a little bit of green just spread out over the canvas. And that was the last of the green that I had in that particular tube, which is wonderful actually. So that tiny bit of green, that's all we get of that color. And that's just fine. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I am going to open things up right now. If anyone would like to make a suggestion for a color or a tone of any sort, please feel free in the next couple of minutes. If no one suggests anything, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to... Oh, thank you so much. Let me fix that. Let me fix that right now. I know exactly what happened. There we go. Hopefully that works out a little better now. It should. Alright. And of course, because of our different angles and different cameras, you're going to have a different experience with the way things look on either side. Alright. You know, at this point in time, there's so many directions we can go, so many ways we can go. So I'm going to, of course, just leave it open for another minute to a color suggestion. But if there isn't one, I'll go ahead, I'll grab another paint, and we're going to keep going. I'm having a really good time, and I hope that you're having a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. And if you're watching this on a replay sometime later, I just wish you well. I'm enjoying this. I'm having a really great time. Painting can be such a relaxing activity, and getting into our creative flow can be a wonderful way to release and let go. I really think that many people need to find something to help them release in one way or another. Ooh, there we go. Alright, since I haven't gotten another color suggestion, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another color, we're going to see what we find, and we're going to keep going. Alright. Now this is an interesting one that we just got. It is a bright magenta. It is a 20591E bright magenta from Apple Barrel. Just so you know, these Apple Barrel paints are available on my Amazon storefront in my art supplies catalog on there for suggested things. So do feel free to check that out. But bright magenta, that's a fun one. That's fun. Where are we going to put this bright magenta? Ooh, and what brush will we use? I'm feeling like using my comb. So this is, let's just see. This is a number 8 comb brush. This brush comes from a kit which is also available through my Amazon storefront, and it's part of a full set. But we're going to use this, and we're going to add this bright magenta. And I have an idea how I want to put this on. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start right down in the bottom third of the canvas, and I'm going to start adding little daubs with just the tip of the brush, and we're putting those right over top of this green. Just little daubs at an angle, a slight angle. Just because it's fun. I'll put a couple up a little higher near where the yellow is, but not very dark. Just like that. Just like that. So now we have several different things going on. We have the flame yellow, we have the white, we have this green, we have this bright magenta, and we have something starting off. But I will give it another minute, just opening up for suggestions for color. But if there are no suggestions, we're going to keep on going, having fun, and enjoying this painting process together. I'm liking the way it's looking so far. I will take another moment to say how absolutely fun it was when I held the first of my abstract art workshops recently. It was a whole lot of fun, and once again I'll remind you, you should definitely sign up for one. Definitely join us for not just the freedom and the painting, but also the joy of potentially learning something new and experiencing it with a group of people that you perhaps have never worked with before in an artistic space or just enjoyed the company of. All right. Uh, since there is no suggestion yet for another color, I'm going to find something and we're going to keep going. Thank you everyone for being here. Alright. I've reached down and I've found a purple iris. 21486E. This is also from Apple Barrel. I'm going to try to show that to you on camera. But it's a purple iris from Apple Barrel. 21486E. Such a fun color. So what shall we use? I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to get this number 2 liner brush. This is also from the kit that I have available on my Amazon storefront. Number 2 liner brush. So many places I could put it, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add little angular additions to our bottom half in the green, or our bottom third in the green. Just a few of those. And then I'm actually going to take some of this purple iris. I'm going to go all the way to the top of the canvas. And I'm going to roll the brush across. Just going down ever so slightly from that top right corner and then downward. And then I'm going to go over here about a third of the way down on the left side. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just slowly roll across, adding some of this purple iris right over top of our yellow. Let's do one more. Again, about a third of the way down, but this time on the right side. Just rolling the brush as we go along using the edge of it. Since I did that, I'm actually going to go ahead. I'm going to come down to this left-hand corner and I'm just going to spread some more out. In fact, I'm going to swoosh some up all along our bottom, adding some of this purple all along the bottom edge of the canvas and letting it just thin out as I go. A whole lot of fun. All right. Now we already have a lot going on here in a lot of different ways, but we also still have so much open to us, so much available that we can work with. Now, before I move on to the next piece, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to share a link down in the chat. Depending on where you're joining me, there's going to be a link somewhere nearby for my digital gallery where you can check out previous paintings I've made, as well as find a link to that art workshop. I'm going to be uploading most of the art I create to my digital gallery, so you can see my previous work, or you can potentially get a piece for your home, your office, wherever you would like. Hang something up, add a little art to your life. I'll just open it up again. If anyone would like to suggest a color, please go ahead. But if no one has a color suggestion, what we'll do is I'll get another paint and we will keep going. I'm having a whole lot of fun. If anyone has anything good going on for the weekend, feel free to share in the chat. This is my good thing for the weekend, one of them. The other one, of course, is spending a great deal of time with my best friend. We have just such fun here in the studio. I have such fun, and I hope you do too. If there are no color suggestions, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to find another paint, and we're going to keep going. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. All right. I have reached in, and we have a suggestion, so I'm going to honor the suggestion. All right. There we go. We have a suggestion of red from over on Twitch. Thank you so much. Alright, so this is a red from Crafter's Closet from their Art Skills line. Usually they have little information on here somewhere. I guess this one is just a standard red. We don't have any additional information for the color. But it is a Crafter's Closet red. Just hold that up for the camera so you can hopefully get a look at the color. And then we're going to find a place where this belongs. Ooh. Red can be a wonderful, strong color. And you can do so many different things with a red. So, I think I'm going to use a number 6 round brush to actually add this red to our piece. We're going to see how this fits. We're going to find a spot for it. I'm thinking on the top third, we're going to add some of this red. So using this number 6 round brush, I'm going to get some of that red on the brush, and then I'm actually going to try to thin it out just a tiny bit. And using, again, a rolling method, I'm going to start zigzagging it down. From the top edge downward. But instead of just rolling in one direction, we're going to zigzag along. Adding some of this red up here. And I want to actually go ahead and I want to make it a little bit stronger. So I'm gonna stipple some on right over top of where I've already been adding it, and then I'm going to go up to this top edge here where some of that purple is. I'm just going to stipple it along. And then create these long sweeping zigzags moving downward. I really would like to make the red really strong up in this top left corner. It just feels like a good place to do it. So I'm going to fully use the edge of my brush, and I'm really going to deepen that red in. Unlock the top because I would like to get it right along the whole top edge. Set this down momentarily. Just add a little bit more. I think that the red should be really strong up here. That's my opinion. We're going to see how it looks. Mostly using the edge of the brush and then allowing gradation to occur as we move downward. Like the way that looks. A couple more rolling sweeps, adding some more of that red over the yellow, just for some fun. At this point in time, we're getting a lot going on. We have an interesting grouping of colors. I like it. I like it. I will give a moment for any other suggestions. But we're starting to really get something interesting here and something quite lovely, I think. So yeah, if you have any other color suggestions, go right ahead, put them out. Otherwise, we're just going to keep going. This is turning out truly interesting. There's still so much time and so much canvas, so we really can have a great bit of fun and exploration. We can explore the canvas together. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to get a couple of things out ahead of time. I have some ideas as what would look interesting on here, what might look really nice. So I'm just going to grab a couple of things, but I am open to all suggestions right now. We still have a long way to go. But that's one of those wonderful things about painting is no matter how far you have to go, every step actually makes the journey more interesting. It adds more, I don't know, curiosity, sometimes questions. That's just my thought at the moment. Now, if we don't have any more suggestions, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab the next thing, and I'm going to add it on, and we're going to keep going. Because there's a couple of things that I think would really kind of make this pop a bit. So what I'm actually going to be doing from here is, I know we already have some red on, but I'm going to add some Naphthol Crimson. This is a Liquitex ink. So this is an acrylic ink. This is Naphthol Crimson. It's a PR170 F5RK. That's PR170 F5RK. And this is a Liquitex ink Naphthol Crimson. So So I think that this would actually be very interesting to add here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of this. Now, inks are much thinner. They can be applied in a number of different ways. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get a a 1-inch brush. And I'm going to take this 1-inch brush and I'm going to begin adding a layer of crimson over top of the pre-existing red. So all of our red up here, I'm going to add this crimson. It's actually going to make this red richer, but I'm going to add a very heavy layer up top and then lightly streak my way down . Now I know that this is going to make it really dark for a moment, but I have a plan. So now that I've added some of that crimson right over top of everything, what I want to do from here is I'm actually going to go ahead, I'm going to get some more of the yellow flame that I started with. Using the same 1-inch brush that I was just using, I'm going to get some of that yellow flame, and using the tip of it, I'm actually going to begin layering and blending everything I just did. Again, going in back and forth strokes, but using the tip of the brush primarily. And I really want to create kind of a blend between the crimson and the yellow, allowing them to just naturally merge together. Now that I've done that, I'm actually going to go ahead, I'm going to get more of the crimson, just a little bit more, and I'm going to come back up to the top and work it in. A little more of the yellow. A little more of the crimson. Then, right before I change brushes, I'm going to give a tiny bit of that iris. Just a tiny bit. And right here, right at the top, I'm going to work it in, blending some of that iris into the yellow and crimson. We really have something fun here now. Put a little more of that iris in. I'm enjoying the way this looks so far. Oh, we can have a lot more fun from here, actually. Can't see it. Alright. Let me adjust, hopefully to make it easier to see. do have a little issue in regards to lighting. 1 second. So what I'll do really quick here is I'm actually going to make this bigger. Right there. Alright, so those are some good comments. It's always different than when it dries and you photograph it. That is true. We get a lot of change as the paint dries, as things settle, as the pigments actually take place. And this is obviously going to be a lot different than what is the final outcome. Let me just come over here again really quick. I'm going to make that one smaller. But yes, that is true. There's a really big difference between the paint when it's kind of a living medium like this, and then when it settles and it takes its final form. And based on the paints I use, there's not a lot that I can do to alter that in its current form. Normally I will follow the way the paint goes, but sometimes you have to kind of give in to instinct on these things. What I would actually like to do... Oh wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm kind of getting a little excited on the canvas. So I will wait just a moment before I press forward. I know, I'm getting ahead. I'm getting far ahead. So I'll open it up again to suggestions. Purpler. Alright. I like that, and that is something that we can go with. Yes, I did. I asked for a color. Thank you so much. So I have this one that I grabbed, but let me look to see if I have anything else that we can use, because I like a purple, so we will do something in the range of purple. Now, I do have both a deep violet and that iris purple. We could use either. I do like the idea of using the deep violet. And actually I would like to see how that deep violet looks maybe mixed with our iris purple. Create something in between. Though I realize that deep violet is actually very deep, very deep. So I will definitely lean back to our purple iris. So I'm going to take the purple iris, and then a number 8 filbert brush. And let's go ahead, we're going to add some of the purple iris on here. Gonna get a little more in, and we're gonna make it a little more striking. Adding some of this purple iris over top of places where the purple has actually been kind of faded out. And then we'll even get it up here. So we're just adding these wonderful purple lines, but letting them take their natural organic shapes. One of the good things about a filbert brush is, due to the round end, you can make some really wonderful organic shapes. So now we have this wonderful purple that's really brightening everything up, or maybe darkening everything up, I don't know. But it sure has punch, and I like it. And I'm actually going to add a little more over top of what I've already put down, just because I would like to keep the saturation high. Alright, there we go. I think that looks really nice. It's really nice, actually. I'm enjoying the way this looks. I hope you are too. If you need me to adjust the cameras, do let me know. I will be happy to. Though, again, at this point in time, I will completely and totally leave things open for any more suggestions on the thoughts of color or tone. I have a few ideas here, but I definitely want to get your input. Well, let me just adjust that. Hopefully that makes that a little easier to see. We're going to leave it right there for the rest of the stream. Alright. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do two things right now. I'm going to make a yellow-green by mixing this yellow medium azo. It's a Liquitex ink, which the pigment is FGX. So this is a yellow medium azo. This is a Liquitex ink. They're absolutely wonderful. And then I'm going to take just the tiniest remains of this green. It's just a Crafter's Closet green, and I'm going to make a yellow green out of these. And then using a number 4 angle brush here, I'm going to go ahead and mix that up, and I'm going to apply it to the bottom third of the canvas. Once again, I'm going to be using angled strokes going in the same direction as my previous ones. And just applying streaks of this yellow-green over top of what we already did. And then going a little heavier on the bottom. Now that I've added that on there, I'm actually going to take some of the yellow medium azo on its own. Then with another 1-inch flat brush, I'm going to get just a little bit of that right here, and I'm going to add some of this yellow azo up here to brighten up our top. I'm not going to completely spread it on, I'm just going to be adding streaks, which are mostly going to be underneath the purple, right below. And it's going to add some richness to our color. Just a little richness. With that on there, I'm actually going to use the same brush, and just with a little bit of that yellow, just going to put a few streaks in our green on the bottom. Again, just adding a little bit of richness to the color, and also adding a little bit of depth. Setting those aside. Well, we are now in our last half hour, so if you have any suggestions, feel free to share. If not, we're going to finish this painting up and just keep enjoying ourselves. I hope you're having a good time. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for being here. Actually, while I have a moment, just because I realize that this looks different depending on which camera you are looking at it in, let me just open this one up for a moment, a little bit wider, so you can see that difference. Make that a little smaller again. We are well on our way to completion. I think the additional purple was a wonderful suggestion. Thank you so much. Alright, it does seem like we're in a great place. We're going to go ahead. We're going to keep going. I'm not seeing any other suggestions. Completely understand. At this point, there's something beautiful opening up to us. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to add some more details to it and a few extra points of interest. Just because I think that there are some things this could use. Now the very first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking a titanium white Liquitex ink. That's a PW6. It's a titanium white Liquitex ink. And going to then take a number 3 liner brush, and I'm just going to add a tiny bit of that titanium white to a couple of places where I think it will bring out some of the depth of our piece. We don't want a lot of it, just a little, mostly in angular strokes up here. At the very top of where the green meets the yellow. Of course, I won't just be doing this because there's a couple other things to do with this titanium white while we have it. One is I'm going to add just a little bit and a couple of points up top. Again, to create depth. And with those on there, I'm then going to get a little more of that green I had made before, and I'm going to mix it with the titanium white. So we're going to end up with a very light green. Very light green. Once I get this mixed. Using that same liner brush, I'm going to take this very light green and I'm going to put it right below where I was adding that white before. I will overlay slightly, just slightly. Then, with that on there, I want to grab another flat brush, in this case a number 8. I'm going to get some of my original green. And just do a little blend in here. Just a little. Just a little. Really liking the way all of this is looking right now. I have to be careful. I keep having extra thoughts. You know, sometimes you start to move in a certain direction and then more thoughts come up, more ideas. That's just how it goes. There is one or two other things that I think would look nice on here. We don't want to overpower everything because we really have a good composition going, but I may just add a couple of those things. Yeah, I'm going to add just a couple. So I haven't used this one yet, but I would like to add this flag red. That's a 21469E. 21469E. Flag red from Apple Barrel. We don't want a lot of it. Just a little. Just a tiny bit. Gonna get a number 3 liner brush. And with this number 3 liner brush, I'm gonna take a little bit of this flag red. And first, all the way at the bottom here, I'm just gonna put some streaks of it in. Again, in the angular motion that everything else has been coming through with. But only on the very bottom edges of the piece. So probably the bottom quarter. Just a little bit, and I'm going to let it be very streaky. Maybe do a couple there. Alright. Just a little bit. Just a little. We don't need much of this to really get an effect. And then I'm going to take a tiny bit of it and I'm going to add it up here in the red on the top. This is a slightly different red than the other two. And I just want to add a little bit of it all the way up here. At the very top of the piece. Using mostly the edge of the brush and spreading it out thin. Just a little bit. Now we have this wonderful depth of field in the very bottom. And we have this wonderful richness up in the top with lots of different layers of additive color. Just because I think it may look nice, I'm going to take that comb brush again, this number 3. And I'm going to get a little bit of that bright magenta, just a little. Get most of it off our brush. But I am going to add some of that in thin streaks towards kind of the middle of our green field. And then up a bit. You won't see much of it, but it's going to add additional depth. And a little down here. And the smallest bit there. Just increasing that depth of field. Now personally, I can see a number of things that I could do with this, but at this point in time, I would like to consider this piece completed. There's no point in adding more when less will do. So I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to open up this camera for a moment to give you a different perspective as how this currently looks. Smaller again, and of course you have the different perspective of the other camera. You know, I've really enjoyed painting today. I hope you've had a good time here. Now, depending on where you're joining me, there is going to be a link somewhere nearby. I'm just sharing it again, and that's a link for alcmcduffyart.com, where you can visit my digital gallery, and you can see previous paintings I've done on these streams, as well as find a link to my abstract art workshop, The Art of Feeling. I enjoy so very much spending time painting with you, and I enjoy being able to have these interactive moments. but I also truly enjoy helping others find the way to create themselves. So, whether you are interested in adding some art to your life and getting a painting or a charcoal piece from my digital gallery, or if you'd like to sign up to an art workshop and learn a little bit about abstract art and processes with which to create it, please consider going over, checking out my digital gallery. And if you can share it, tweet it, share it on your social media, I would appreciate that so much. Now, just have a little drink from the horn. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Cheers. Now, at least a couple of times a month, I get on and we paint together. And once a month, I hold my workshops, but I stream on many different platforms, and I'm here every Saturday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So please consider coming back, following, subscribing. I appreciate all of you, but with this painting complete, I'll just open it up. If anyone would like to share any thoughts or anything good about your weekend, go right ahead. But I believe this is all for this painting. Just like it's all for that horn. Alright. I'm going to get out of here a little early today. Thank you so much for being here. Take care. Be well. Be excellent. And I'll see you all again real soon. And of course, don't forget, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, I stream from the river. Please consider joining. Otherwise, though, you just have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. Be excellent. I'll see you all again real soon, okay? Bye, everybody.